Friday night and you're tuned in to News 5. I'm Jamie Rock and here's what's making headlines tonight. Community outrage is growing in Boston Village as residents speak out against illegal logging. We've got the reactions from the chairman, government ministers, and the Forestry Department. In Santa Elena, a late-night shooting leaves one man dead. Was it a hit targeting a police officer, and could it be linked to a recent stabbing in Keycocker? Belize mourns the loss of carnival icon and beloved educator Leroy Green. Plus, Belize's booming BPO industry may be facing a new challenge from U.S. legislation. And in Hope Creek, a conflict Jaguar is finally captured and safely relocated after weeks of tracking. All that and more coming up. News 5 starts now, so don't go anywhere.
The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
This is the new era of the Mexican Caribbean. A whole spectrum of colors and hues, multi-dimensional cuisine, holographic beaches. The true new era is within you.
Easy, accessible, safe, yours. Digi Wallet, easy, accessible, safe, yours.
Welcome back. Illegal logging, political pressure, and a community fighting back. These are getting tense in Boston Village. Chairman Nikolai Alvarado says loggers have been cutting down trees without proper permits, and when he tried to stop them with police support, a phone call to a government minister may have changed everything. Now villagers are demanding answers and action, and as they uncover abandoned equipment and illegal activity deep in the forest. News 5's Paul Lopez has the story.
In Boston Village, Chairman Nikolai Alvarado is putting the spotlight on illegal logging and pointing fingers at two government ministers. Alvarado says he teamed up with police officers on Thursday evening to confront loggers operating in the Salt Lake Creek Estate area. But just as things were heating up, the loggers made a phone call to Orange Walk South Area Representative Jose Mai. Alvarado claims that call may have stopped police from taking action.
And I got the three police and they came out here and the police told them, you cannot move nothing else from here. So the Mennonite started talking on the phone, and he's called his boss called ministers in the north, and then they called the police officers them to tell them to stand down. The police officers said, we will not stand down, we are doing our job. So this
ministers in the north.
The ministers, the boss of the police, because when the police answer the phone, the police say, yes, boss. So the minister identified himself as the boss, and then from there, they tell.
How did you ascertain that perhaps it was a minister on the phone?
Because I told the officer, let me talk to the guy. When I talked to him, I addressed him and I knew who it was, and I said, look, these guys are doing illegal logging. They're here and they're in Salt Creek Estate. They don't have no permit for right here, right? So the officers are doing their job. They need to do their job. They're out here in the mosquito getting bite at night. Let them do their job. So the phone was hung up and the officer says, we will do our job. Even if we have to lose our job or get redirected, we will get the job done.
Alvarado isn't just calling out illegal logging, he's naming names. He says the police boss involved is Home Affairs Minister Kari Musa. So we reached out to both Musa and Orange Walk South Area Rep Jose Mai to get their side of the story. Mai took our call, and here's what he had to say about Alvarado's claims.
So when they called, I think Minister Musa was along with me, right? So he asked to speak to the police to get clarity on the matter. At no point Minister Musa told the officer to stand down. What he said was, this is a matter for Forestry to deal with. We are not there. We don't know what the exact situation is. So he called for clarity, right? And then he said, I think to the policeman, that is a matter for Forestry to deal with. And I think Forestry went over there to look at it. But nobody gave instructions for the police to stand down. That is not true. I was Minister Musa at the time.
Why did they call you?
Because the guys who have the concession are from my constituency. So they called me, I think, right? And I said, I don't know if the police is there. Maybe Minister Musa can speak to them and get clarity on the matter.
The loggers say bad weather kept them from clearing out logwood before their concession expired in July. But Chairman Alvarado wasn't convinced. After he threatened to bring in the media, forestry officials and police showed up to investigate. They found a logging truck abandoned at the entrance and hidden in nearby bushes, another piece of heavy-duty equipment tucked away under the forest canopy.
About 3 months ago, it came to our attention that there's mud on the highway, right? So from the time there's mud on the highway coming from this area, we know there's always people doing illegal logging around here. So myself, my dad, and a couple of the workers from the park and the village came on the bikes, the ATVs. We came to the back here. We didn't make it too far because the ATV got a stick inside of it and we couldn't go. So the Mennonite guys, they came back and they met with us. I told them, do you have a concession? They said, yes. I said, let me see it. So he pulled out a map and I showed him my GPS map where we are. I said, you're not in Lucky Strike. This is Boston Village. And there's no log in here that you could log because you guys took it out years ago. Every year they do this, right? So I told him, there's nothing else in Boston for you to log. He said, well, they got approval from the minister and blah, blah. I said, well, nothing is here. You cannot take nothing from Boston. So I tell her, you guys like to play smart. I know why you got that concession for over this side. I said, the only place that has logs is Salt Creek Estate, right? Because that's a big portion all along the coast from Sand Hill all the way to Bomba, right? That's where we are right now.
Alvarado, joined by forestry officers, pushed deeper into the logging trail. And what they found confirmed villagers' suspicions. The loggers were working outside their concession boundaries. On site, a forest officer began stamping and seizing the illegal logwood. Former Chairman Ephraim Leal was furious, and now villagers want the proceeds from those logs to benefit the community.
Most of our animals, especially like the givenut, we call the park kind of thing, they live off the seed off of these trees, off of the mahogany seed, the Santa Maria seed, the parrot, they eat all these things, and they come in, take all the reserve. When you, the villager, want something now to build something, you know, because sometimes you find poor villagers want to come and cut one tree down and make some wood, banali, hog pit or something. Nothing exists because these guys come in, cut everything, and they carry it. And like the witness here today, out here, you see these small logs right here, the forestry is co-footing these logs. I'm not a forest officer, right? But if you're on co-foot a log, you don't co-foot the head and the tail, because me personally come here and take my stand, cut off that and cut off that.
Villagers are concerned that if the logwood goes back into the hands of the government, it may end up right back with the loggers that cut them down. We will continue to follow. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Earlier, we spoke with Orange Walk South Area Representative Jose Mai after claims surfaced that he stepped in when police tried to shut down a logging operation suspected of breaking the law. Mai told us that Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa was with him when the loggers reached out for help. Well, just before news time, Minister Musa responded to News 5 with a comment. He said, quote, "I did not ask the officer to stand down, but rather to allow the Forestry Department to carry out their assessment before taking action. I completely appreciate the chairman's passion for standing up for his village, but there is a legal and technical process that is to be followed before police get involved. To do otherwise could place the department in a position of legal liability," unquote. But another question has been raised. Why did Mike call in the first place? We also challenged Chairman Alvarado, because if these loggers are so well connected, then why should he be hopeful that the law of the land will prevail?
That's a matter for Forestry. I don't know because I'm not on the ground. I don't know where boundaries begin and where boundaries end. But that's why Forestry has to deal with it. The Minister Musa advised them to seek intervention from Forestry. If they are logging illegally, then Forestry will have to deal with that.
But
not
why,
the Minister Musa.
Why would these individuals call you? I understand that they are a member of your constituents, but do you have a relationship with them business-wise or any?
Absolutely not. I am a farmer. I'm not a logger. So I won't get bad name for things like that. None at all. And if they tell me that they have the logs cut on the ground, that's what they're telling me. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that I'm not on the spot. Mm-hmm. And that's why Mr. Musa asked for clarity. I have no business in any logging. I don't know how to do that. I have no interest in that. I am a farmer. That's all I do. I have nothing to do with that.
Would you be in a position to reveal the names of those individuals who the concession was given to?
Forestry can do that.
Okay.
Forestry can do that.
I understand the Forestry is investigating. No interference on your part.
Absolutely none. If my constituents are wrong, then they are wrong. Right? If Forestry is wrong, then they are wrong too. Because I don't feel like they don't make mistakes too, you know. I mean, boundaries out there in the jungle is difficult to define. Some say there, some say there, but that's a matter for Forestry to deal with, not me.
But I put to you that if people in the higher ups or in a higher position are involved, then you as a village chairman in a small community like Boston, you can't do nothing to stop this. Well, they will have their way at the end of the day.
Well, I will say one thing now. I applaud our era rep, Honorable Marconi Leal Jr., because when I contacted him last night about it, he was here 6:30 this morning confronting the Mennonites, and then they jumped in their vehicle and they took off. The Mennonites, they ran away before all the police or media came here. And he let them know, you're doing something illegal, he will press it until they go to jail, and they have to confiscate all of this, and the village of Boston should get it. So I really applaud him for standing up.
And for a unique but interesting perspective on the matter, we spoke with Boston resident Demasio Veyos. The loggers were staying on one of his properties while they were doing their work. Veyos, a former counselor, says they showed him a concession, but he did not look at it close enough to know their boundaries. He says that while they paid for their stay, he is angered by the destruction they caused.
I was just giving them somewhere to stay because they was apparently illegal.
They were illegal.
They,
That's what they told you.
yeah. So
Who are they that you were giving up this estate?
the guys that cut the log,
Who are they?
the Mennonite guys and some Spanish guys. Well, I'm a 5-time elected village councillor. I've been vice chairman twice, and I have a lot of interest in my home. But once you have a license for a concession, ain't nothing I could do about that.
Did they show you the license?
They showed me a license, but I never did really take a good look at it. That it said Lucky Strike. So ain't nothing I could do about that. You know, they was paying me a little rent to stay at my place. Which if I give them somewhere to stay or I didn't, they would still be out here.
Now that you realize what they were doing, what do you think?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not too happy with it. It's our village, you know. It's our. What happened is a few years back, I went to get a concession under the village council name so we could build a center, because we don't even have a center in Boston. We don't even have running water. And the area rep did not want to sign that paper, so I don't see why should somebody else come from another place and get these privileges. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a damn shame. Somebody got to step on somebody, because it seemed like the crime started from above. And forestry has a lot to do with it.
Well, tonight we can put the rumors to rest. The Forest Department has confirmed to News 5 that the logging operation in question was in fact illegal. Here's what happened. The forestry officer in charge of Orange Walk discovered that the loggers kept cutting trees even after their concession expired at the end of July. And it doesn't stop there. They were also working outside the boundaries of that concession. Deputy Chief Forest Officer John Pinello told us that when his team inspected the site last week, they warned the loggers that their time was almost up. But things escalated quickly after complaints started pouring in yesterday. That's when the department stepped in more forcefully. So while the loggers may have had permission at one time, it's clear they crossed the line.
We got the complaint yesterday evening, and early this morning we responded. We went out to the area. The officer in charge did an inspection, and he found out that the licensee had moved out of his area and was operating outside of his logging concession, which is an infraction, the first infraction. We found a number of logs that were not stamped. Some were stamped, about 53 logs were stamped, which my officer had stamped last week when we were still within the duration that they could work. But it seems like they might have continued pulling logs out and possibly cutting logs down or cutting trees down after we had told them to wrap up. So this is an ongoing investigation. The officer has crow-footed, as we say in forestry language, which means that we put a tree prong stamp on the tree, which means that tree cannot be touched or moved by anybody except us. All of the logs have been crow-footed, and so the officer will go in next week and do a thorough assessment, and then we will then determine what charges will be laid on the person who continued to do the logging outside of the logging season.
And just to clear the air, Deputy Chief Forest Officer John Pinello is refuting claims that politicians are influencing the Forestry Department's work. He says that's simply not true, at least not in his office. Pinello made it clear that their focus is on enforcing the law, not playing politics. He also told News 5 that once the department finalizes the charges related to the logging license, he'll be following up with us. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that development.
The assertion from the villagers is that these loggers feel emboldened because there's a lack of proper enforcement, there's a lack of frequent presence, and there's apparent support from persons in positions higher than yours as deputy and higher than the chief forest officer.
Those 3 points are false, Paul. And I need to clarify that. The department is out there regularly. We don't report to the chairman or to the villagers, so they might not know that we're there. But we're out doing our work. We're out every week. We just don't have enough staff, and we will never have enough staff to monitor every logging license. What we do is a rotational basis for the week, and we go and we visit them. We visit them to stamp the logs and to make sure that they're not breaking the law. So those stories are false narratives, I can categorically say that there is no political influence in what we are doing, at least not on my desk. And so nobody out there should feel emboldened, even if they know somebody politically, because we're the ones who are monitoring and we're the ones with the mandate to manage. And the Forest Department will apply the law as long as we find some infraction being made. So that assertion that political powers have us on our knees and we can't get any work done is a lie. Unfortunately, that is the first thing that people jump at. They make whatever issue going on political, when most of the time it is not. And this one, I must categorically say, it's not.
Coming up, Santa Elena shooting victim previously charged with murder. More when we return.
Introduction of redesigned banknotes. Does this affect the value of the Belize dollar? The answer is no. The design of the banknotes does not determine its value. While the new banknotes will look different, their value remains exactly the same. In accordance with the Central Bank app, the Belize currency is pegged at 2 Belize dollars to $1 US, and that has not changed. Rest assured, whether you are holding one of our current notes or a new one, $1 is still $1. The value of your money remains stable, backed by the strength of our nation's economy. New look, same value. Learn more at www.centralbank.org.bz. A message from the Central Bank of Belize.
The Bliss Center for the Performing Arts presents Brother David and the Tribal Vibes live in concert. This is Brother David like you've never seen him before, for one night only, Friday, August 15th at 7:30 p.m. Don't miss this rare performance from a true Belizean legend. Enjoy the songs you know and love, reimagined, remixed, and live on the Bliss stage, featuring Afro-Caribbean sound, to Flurry Denise Garifuna Dance Group. Tickets general $15, reserved $30, premium $40. Cash bar and light snacks will be on sale. Call 227-2110 or visit the Bliss Box office today. Experience the legacy. Brother David, live.
up, bro? Good, man. Just Western Union moms a little money using DigiWallet. Uncle in the States, pays me too. Same app using DigiWallet. Bro, this is too easy. I can do this from anywhere. No lines, no hassle. It's just easy. All right, gotta run, bro. Take it easy.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Aiwa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Aiwa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Aiwa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Aiwa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Aiwa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
Rosetón presenta Los Cumbia Kings. Los Cumbia Kings en concierto. Este 30 de agosto en el Estadio del Pueblo, Orange World Belice. Los Cumbia Kings en vivo. No tengo dinero ni nada que dar. No te pierdas el concierto del año que te hará bailar como nunca. General 150, VIP 200 y Platino $350. Boletos a la venta en la aplicación QuiPass, disponible en Android y iPhone. También con Orindrag con cuellos, Shell One Stop, Marías Café, Lifestyle Beauty Salon y WSK Call Center al 611-3677. Amor Turquesa, Boutique Belmopá. Gracias al patrocinio de
BTV, Mechas, Cuellos, Lock and Loaded, Mark Production, Quick Pass, Lighthouse,
Instituto Nacional de Cultura e Historia y Smart Belice.
RF&G encourages you to activate your emergency disaster plan to ensure safety and coverage for your vessel. We advise you to move your boat to higher grounds. If your vessel gets submerged, do not attempt to start after retrieval. Contact the claim department at 0800 RFG Help, or you can file a claim via WhatsApp at 670-8700. Then, immediately contact your marine mechanic to assess the damages sustained. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance.
A late-night shooting in Santa Elena, Cayo has left one man dead, and the police say it may have been an attempted hit on one of their own, Darnell Arnold, who was no stranger to the law in 2018. He was charged with murder but later walked free after the case was discontinued. Questions are being asked about whether this recent incident could be connected to a stabbing in Kikaker a few weeks ago. Gilberto Romero mentioned they are following leads and they will have more information as it becomes available. Tanya Arceo reports.
A quiet night in Santa Cruz, Santa Elena took a deadly turn just after 10 on Thursday. Gunshots rang out outside the home of police officer Leonel Urbina, shattering the calm. According to police, Darnell Arnold, a resident of Dalabanc in Hattieville, approached Urbina's house, reportedly armed. Moments later, Arnold was shot and killed right there at the scene. Authorities are now piecing together what led to the fatal encounter.
At 10:15 p.m. last night, police responded to a shooting incident in Santa Elena in the Cayo district. Upon their arrival, they saw the lifeless body of a male person who was later identified as Darnell Arnold of Hattieville Village.
Arnold was no stranger to the law. In 2018, he was charged with the broad daylight murder of 26-year-old Fillmore King in Hattieville. King had been shot on his veranda in what investigators described as an execution-style killing. Arnold spent nearly 5 years on remand, but in May 2023, the case against him was discontinued when the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions entered a nolle pros citing insufficient evidence. He was then set free. Now, just over a year later, Arnold's life has ended in another violent confrontation, this time outside a police officer's home.
A complainant reported that he was at home along with his family members when he heard several gunshots fired towards his house. He opened his window to check what was happening, at which point he saw a male person firing shots towards his house. He then pulled out a firearm and fired a single shot at the person who was firing at his house, causing the fatal injuries to the person. We are conducting a thorough investigation into this matter. At the conclusion of the investigation, this file will be forwarded to the Director of Public Prosecutions for directives.
Just a few weeks ago, Officer Rubina was involved in a fatal stabbing in Keycocker that claimed the life of 19-year-old Kevin DePaz. Now, investigators are looking into whether that incident is somehow connected to Thursday night's deadly shooting in Santa Elena. So far, police haven't confirmed a link between the two cases, but here's what we do know. Sources tell News 5 that Urbina had been receiving threats before the shooting. Still, no official motive has been established. We did reach out to the family of the deceased for comment, but they've chosen not to speak at this time. Tania Arceo for News 5.
Carnival season is almost here, but this year the celebrations come with a heavy heart. Belize is mourning the loss of one of its most iconic carnival figures, Leroy Green, who was found dead earlier this morning on the veranda of his home. Known for his vibrant spirit and unwavering dedication to the arts, Green was a champion of creative expression and community pride. He was also a carnival legend. News 5's Brittany Gordon takes a closer look at his life, his impact, and the legacy he leaves behind.
If you've ever been to Belize's Carnival, chances are you've seen Leroy Green, decked out in full costume, bringing energy and joy to the streets year after year. He was a staple of the celebration, a familiar face who lived and breathed the spirit of Carnival. But this year, the festivities will feel different. This morning, the country woke up to the heartbreaking news: Leroy Green passed away. Patrick Thompson, president of the Belize Carnival Association and one of Green's longtime friends, remembers the first time they met when Green invited him to be in a play. From that moment on, he became a mentor and a guiding light in Thompson's life.
Yeah, he introduced me to Carnival through that same production, and after the production I decided to let me take a try to be a part of a Carnival group. And Mr. Green and the other people welcomed me, and from there my Carnival life started. That was way back in I don't remember how long. And over the years I have developed that friendship with Mr. Green. Mr. Green was like a mentor to a lot of us. He would tell us right off the bat what he liked and what he don't like.
Green was known to support several carnival bands, but one band was home to him, Mother Nature's Creations. Owner Carla Flowers shares the special bond they shared.
I know Mr. Green from my childhood days. We are a neighbor, we are neighbors. And when I wanted to start my carnival band, he was the closest person for me to go and ask questions about joining carnival. And then we started to get closer and closer. So he's my friend for over 17 years.
Flowers shares that Green's love for education poured over into every facet of his life.
Oh, as a mentor to us, man, he's everything. I will say everything. You know, people that come around and need help with education, whatever, art, education, he always there to give a helping hand.
Leroy Green was a carnival icon and a passionate advocate for the arts and creative expression in Belize. Beyond the feathers and fanfare, Green spent years shaping the country's cultural landscape. He served as program director at the Institute of Creative Arts and later as the national coordinator for expressive arts at the Ministry of Education. About 16 years ago, he crossed paths with Kim Vasquez, now the director of ICA, and the two have been working side by side ever since, sharing a vision for empowering artists and inspiring the next generation.
He was very much committed to our National Festival of Arts as well. He was my counterpart for many years, and I would often speak of this, and I still do, of the partnership with the Ministry of Education that allows us to have a National Festival of Arts, and so he was my counterpart for many years. Me here at the Institute of Creative Arts and his end at the Ministry of Education, and we would work together every year for the Festival of Arts, and we also would work together for what was our Summer Arts Immersive. Back then it was called the Summer Arts Institute, and we would have the summer camp here at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. And in many ways I inherited those efforts from Leroy where the summer camp was concerned.
Above all, Green was an artist, a writer, poet, dancer, and performer. Thompson says the association will do its part to honor his legacy as carnival season approaches.
Well, from Mr. Green, we'll just continue to do what he would always ask us to do. Just do the right thing and go by our books.
While Leroy Green won't be around this carnival season, his influence on culture will continue to be felt for years to come. Brittany Gordon for News 5.
After the break, SSB scholarships empower 90 Belizean students to chase their dreams. But first, here's the latest weather update from the Belize Met Service.
Introducción de billetes rediseñados. ¿Alterará este rediseño el valor del dólar beliceño? La respuesta es no. El diseño de los billetes no determina su valor. Aunque los nuevos billetes se verán diferentes, su valor sigue siendo exactamente el mismo. De acuerdo con la ley del Banco Central, la moneda de Belice está fijada a $2 beliceños por $1 estadounidense, y eso no ha cambiado. Tengan la seguridad de que ya sea que tengan uno de los billetes actuales o uno nuevo, $1 sigue siendo $1. El valor de su dinero permanece estable, respaldado por la fortaleza de la economía de nuestra nación. Nueva imagen, mismo valor. Para obtener más información, visite www.centralbank.org.bz. Un comunicado del Banco Central de Belice.
KTV contestant by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to Smart Code 585. Here are this week's contestants.
Come, Jesus, come. We've been waiting so long for the day you return to heal every hurt and right every wrong.
So when you're feeling down, just not forget for pray. When things seem bad, He will always make a way. His love is for real and it is here to stay. Keep you on His spots and never make you go astray. Me have to say, we can't live without you. We can't breathe without you. Oh God, I wouldn't be me without you now.
And when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your days down here all through, yeah, there's a place out there for people like you.
Hands and proclaim, my God, how great Thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to Thee.
With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing.
Remember, voting ends on Sunday at midnight, and don't forget to tune in every Tuesday at 8 p.m. only on Great Jubilees Media.
Belize is on the move. The Coastal Road is now powered by Digi's ever-expanding 4G LTE Advanced Network. Now you can stream that music, track that storm, or stop to send that file. Digi 4G LTE has got you covered. Digi, leading Belize's digital transformation.
It's that time of year again. Backpacks, notebooks, and fresh hopes for the school year ahead. But for 90 students across Belize, this back-to-school season comes with a special gift, a full academic scholarship courtesy of the Social Security Board. Today, SSB held its annual scholarship ceremony, celebrating high school, college, and vocational students who now have one less thing to worry about: tuition. It's all part of a mission to empower Belizeans through education and fuel the country's economic growth. News 5's Brittany Gordon was there and brings us the story.
Try, even though if you're not accepted, it's just to take the shot and to try and to never give up in life.
Getting a good education shouldn't be a luxury. It should be a right. But for many Belizeans, the cost of tuition can be a major roadblock. This year, that burden is being lifted for 90 students across the country, thanks to the Social Security Board's award program. These scholarships are giving young Belizeans the chance to focus on their studies and chase their dreams without worrying about how to pay for it. Communications Manager Vanessa Veos shares how this initiative is opening doors and changing lives.
This is a very significant ceremony because, as you know, you have a lot of students out there who study and do really well in school, but they have a problem in that they don't have the finances to continue their education. So what the Social Security Board is doing is providing that opportunity, that transition that you need from primary school to high school and also from high school to the associate degree level, the sixth form level.
This year marks a historic moment for the board as they awarded 90 scholarships, the most that the program has ever handed out since its inception in 2001. Over 200 students applied this year alone. Mary Reyes is beaming with pride today. The Ladyville Tech graduate is one of this year's scholarship recipients, and she couldn't be more excited about what's ahead.
I felt a mix of emotions. I felt happy, I felt scared, and I felt like just excited all in one.
And what was the application process like for you? At any point in it, did you think, oh, I'm not sure if I'll get it, or were you confident?
At one point, I was like, I don't really know if I will get it.
Mary, who was diagnosed with spina bifida at birth, will be studying sociology and psychology at St. John's Junior College. For Mary Reyes, the journey hasn't been easy, but it's those personal struggles that have fueled her determination to succeed.
From a young age, I went through a difficult time where I struggled with my mental health. So I decided to say, you know what, I want to study to help other younger generation like me who's going through a rough time with their mental health, so they have someone to talk to open up to, and to feel safe.
The awards consisted of 32 high school scholarships, 52 associate degree scholarships, and 6 vocational scholarships. Police officer Andy Garcia is using his scholarship to obtain his high school diploma. He tells us that his biggest motivation for doing so is his family.
My biggest motivation for now is my daughter. I have a 6-year-old and wonderful daughter, which is quite smart, and she is the one motivate me to push on and try to finish.
After graduating high school, Garcia hopes to further his studies in information technology, an opportunity he may not have had if it were not for the scholarship.
I'm excited. I'm so happy, so grateful for this wonderful opportunity that the Social Security has given me to further and actually finish my education.
They come from different backgrounds, ages, and walks of life, but they all share one thing, a dream to succeed. This year's scholarship recipients range from fresh high school grads to adults returning to the classroom, showing just how committed the Social Security is to giving every Belizean a fair shot at education and economic success. Brittany Gordon for News 5.
Belize is among 7 Caribbean countries to take part in the regional Code Caribbean initiative. At the heart of this pilot program is the training of teachers in computer science, introducing them to technology early on while also building their skills in emotional intelligence and entrepreneurship. Code Caribbean is also working to strengthen the connection between the Ministry of Education and the private sector to ensure that what's being taught in classrooms lines up with real job opportunities, especially for students from underserved communities. A closing ceremony was held in Belmopan on Thursday for the cohort of participants.
It is with heartfelt gratitude and immense pride that I address you today on behalf of the government and people of Belize as we mark the conclusion of the 3-year Code Caribbean project, a remarkable journey that not has only introduced coding to our classrooms, but ignited a broader movement to empower students and teachers through STEAM. Belize's participation in this regional initiative has been anchored in our belief that innovation, creativity, and technology are essential to national development. Over the past 3 years, we have seen classrooms transform, students engage in new and exciting ways, and teachers stepping into the future with confidence and skill.
A new bill making its way through the U.S. Senate could spell trouble for Belize's thriving BPO sector. It's called the Keep Call Centers in America Act of 2025, and if passed, it could make it harder and costlier for U.S. companies to outsource call center jobs overseas. The bipartisan bill introduced by Senators Ruben Gallego and Jim Justice is designed to keep more customer service jobs on American soil. It would require companies to give the U.S. Department of Labor a heads-up 120 days in advance before shifting operations abroad. And that's just the start. Businesses that do outsource could end up on a public list and lose access to federal grants and loans. Plus, any call center work tied to U.S. government contracts would have to be done in the States, and agents would need to disclose their location and whether they've been using AI. That's a big deal for Belize, where the BPO industry has become a major economic driver. With over 16,000 people employed and an estimated $150 million in annual salaries, the sector has been booming thanks to Belize's English-speaking workforce, cost-effective services, and cultural alignment with North America. But now, industry insiders are warning that the proposed legislation could slow things down. If U.S. companies start pulling back to avoid penalties, Belize could see fewer jobs and less investment in the sector. Still, there's room for optimism. Experts say this could be a turning point for Belize to diversify its client base beyond the U.S., explore new service areas, and invest in even more workforce training to stay competitive in a global market. When we return, Belizean teachers educated on good governance and transparency.
On July 10, 2025, Belize Electricity Limited and Blair Atoll Power Company Limited signed a historic power purchase agreement for the development of a 15-megawatt utility-scale solar plant, complete with a 1.5-megawatt, 3-megawatt-hour battery storage system. This project represents a significant milestone in building a cleaner, more sustainable, and resilient electricity grid.
Today's signing is the furthest we've ever come down the road of realizing the needed facilities and our own ambitions for harnessing the power of the sun. This PPA provides a model in which everybody, BL, Babcock, and consumers win, and that is how it should be. We have every confidence that Babcock can and will bring this project home, and BL publicly offers whatever support it can to realize this goal.
What we learn here will set the foundation for future projects, including solar, wind, hybrid systems, and even other emerging developing technologies, renewable energy technologies, that Belize will need if we are going to remain competitive and resilient.
BEL and Babcock will collaborate closely to develop and commission the plant within 12 to 18 months from the start of construction. Once operational, the solar plant will supply clean, renewable energy directly to the national grid, strengthening Belize's energy security and diversifying our national energy mix.
Oh, yo, what's up, bro? Good, man. Just Western Union moms a little money using DigiWallet. Uncle in the States pays me too. Same app. Using DigiWallet. Bro, this is too easy. I can do this from anywhere. No lines, no hassle. Just easy. Alright, gotta run, bro. Take it easy.
Use P-Bucks to purchase items at any Benny's location. Spend B-Bucks on items in-store after you have earned them. You can give or transfer B-Bucks to another B-Bucks member or registered charity. To learn more, visit our website at www.bbucks.bz. Remember, loyalty is always rewarding with B-Bucks. Brought to you by Benny's, quality and savings.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp.
Enjoy free social media data now included in our Flex Choice and Select postpaid plans.
Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Belizean teachers are stepping up to the challenge of getting youths interested in good governance. Today, the Central American Regional Security Initiative Economic Support from CARSI ESF project hosted an in-person workshop at the Belize Biltmore Plaza, bringing together educators, teachers, and trainers committed to fostering transparency and good governance in our communities. Through various hands-on activities, these educators were sensitized on the importance of good governance practices and how these can be effectively conveyed to youth in Belize. Project Director Zain Doheny explains how using technology, this initiative will support teachers in shaping an informed and active generation for Belize's future.
This is one activity of the project, which is a 2-year project under the grant. We're currently engaged in what is under the activity in-person CPD workshop for teachers and educators. Under that, the teachers came to this activity with the goal of refining some of their skill sets and pedagogical approaches, but we're also giving them tools that will assist them to be better equipped when they go into a classroom to speak on the areas of governance, transparency, accountability, and to be able to pass on the knowledge to their students, which is an area that has always been an area of concern for wider society, because there's a declining interest from the youth demographic in terms of participating in the electoral process currently. We saw that with the last election, where there was a low youth voter turnout and also a low registration turnout for youths that were eligible to participate in the last general election.
The President of the Senate, Carol Trent Sandiford, has just returned from Brazil, where she represented Belize at the Second Parliamentary Summit on Climate Change and Just Transition, a major regional event held at the National Congress in Brasilia. Over 2 days, lawmakers from across Latin America and the Caribbean gathered to strengthen ties and align their legislative strategies ahead of COP30, the United Nations Climate Conference set for November in Belém, Brazil. The summit, organized by the Parliamentary Observatory on Climate Change and Just Transition, is backed by the UN's Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean and the Open Society Foundations. It was co-hosted by Brazil's Chamber of Deputies and Federal Senate, with support from several climate policy partners. One of the key outcomes of the summit will be a letter of support for Brazil's COP30 presidency, along with a joint declaration reaffirming the region's commitment to climate action, both of which will be formally presented at COP30. Trent Sandiford's presence at the summit highlights Belize's ongoing leadership in climate policy and its dedication to building a sustainable future through legislative collaboration and a just transition. The Forestry Department has relocated a conflict Jaguar from Hope Creek Village. Deputy Chief Forest Officer John Pinello says that 3 weeks ago, the Jaguar killed a dog in the community. They've been trying to capture the Jaguar since. Well, they finally caged the Jaguar on Thursday. Here's Pinello with more.
We got a call about a month ago about a Jaguar killing a dog in Hope Creek, in Stan Creek. we deployed our capture cage, but it was unsuccessful. So after about 3 weeks, we moved the cage out. We got a call yesterday. The zoo actually received the call, and they asked us if they could deploy the cage. So we told them, yes, go ahead. They deployed the cage, and we captured the jaguar. Actually, yesterday we captured the jaguar. We deployed the cage the day before. And so now we have successfully caught this jaguar. It's safe. It wasn't hurt or anything. It has been taken to the zoo where we will do full analysis of the animal, its health analysis. This is going to be done by the Forest Department, the Belize Zoo, and the Corozal Sustainable Future Initiative. At that point, we will decide whether we should release the jaguar. If it is releasable, then we will put a satellite collar on the animal and release it.
Up next, how is Frank Zib preserving his culture?
Josetún presenta Los Cumbia Kings. Los Cumbia Kings en concierto. Este 30 de agosto en el Estadio del Pueblo, Orange World Belice. Los Cumbia Kings en vivo.
No tengo dinero ni nada que dar.
No te pierdas el concierto del año que te hará bailar como nunca. General 150, VIP 200 y Platino $350. Boletos a la venta en la aplicación WePass, disponible en Android y iPhone. También con Orange Drag con cuellos, Shell One Stop, María's Café, Lifestyle Beauty Salon y WSK Call Center al 611-3677. Amor Turquesa, Boutique Belmopá. Gracias al patrocinio de
BTV, Mechas, Cuellos, Lock and Loaded, Mar Production, Quick Pass, Lighthouse,
Instituto Nacional de Cultura e Historia y Smart Belice.
Hurricanes can be devastating, but knowing your risk can make a difference. Take time to assess your home's construction and location. Is it in a flood zone? Can it withstand strong winds? Preparing now saves headaches later. Contact us for a personalized risk assessment. Remember, it pays to get it right with RFNG Insurance, a Road Group company.
Dengue and Zika alert. Do your part by preventing mosquito breeding. The Ministry of Health reminds the public that as we enter the rainy season, be aware of the dangers of dengue, chikungunya, and Zika. These are infectious diseases that are transmitted by the bite of Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus mosquitoes. These mosquitoes are most active in early morning and late afternoon. Activities that should be done to prevent dengue and Zika include: avoid having containers that can collect water in your yard. Cover water storage containers such as drums. Change the water in flower pots every 4 or 5 days. These are ideal breeding sites for the mosquito. With the elimination of breeding sites in and around the yard, dengue and Zika can be avoided. Dengue and Zika begin with sudden onset of high fever. Other signs and symptoms include rash, joint pain, eye pain. The public is also encouraged to use mosquito repellent spray or lotion on the body or clothing. Do your part by preventing mosquito breeding. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
Vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to SmartCode 585. Here are this week's contestants.
Come, Jesus, come. We've been waiting so long for the day you return to heal every hurt.
when you're feeling down, just not forget for pray. When things seem bad, He will always make a way. His love is for real and it is here to stay. Keep you on His spots and never make you go astray. Me have to say, we can't live without you. We can't breathe without you. Oh God, I wouldn't be me without you now.
And when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your days out here all through, yeah, there's a place out there for people like you.
Hands and proclaim, my God, how great Thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to Thee.
With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing.
Remember, voting ends on Sunday at midnight, and don't forget to tune in every Tuesday at 8 p.m. only on Greater Belize Media.
Easy. Accessible. Safe. Yours. Digi Wallet. Easy, accessible, safe, yours.
What if the language of your ancestors was at risk of disappearing? How would you ensure that the knowledge, stories, and identity it carries are never lost? This week, we're flashing back to San Antonio, Cayo District, where Sabrina met with Frank Zib, a man on a mission to protect his native language through the ancient Maya art of hieroglyphic writing. During that visit, Sabrina discovered the unique ways Frank is ensuring this tradition lives on in the modern world. Here's this week's look on the right side.
The hieroglyphs actually is, I would say, specifically the Maya hieroglyphic writing system is the ancient way that the Maya would write, right? So it's the same way like we write now, A, B, C, D, E. The Maya would have their writing the same way, but it's a little different. When it comes to the Maya writing, we like to say it is logosyllabic, right? So the Maya writing would include logograms and syllables, right? For example, here we have U, which is a syllable, but U can also mean a logogram, which is a shark. So we see here, it's a logogram, but depending on the context as well, it can also be used as a syllable. So that's the beauty in the writing system.
A logogram is a picture word that was used in ancient Maya language to represent a word or phrase. These, along with syllables, were used for inscription in the ancient Maya culture. The writing is called hieroglyphics, and 21-year-old Frank Zib, a resident of San Antonio Village, is on a mission to preserve it.
What it's a big asset for me, I believe, is that I grew up in a Maya community, right? I grew up learning a lot about our culture, seeing the elder people practicing a lot of the traditions, right? And I just grew up with a passion, you know, looking at older people and I see them like practicing everything and I'm like, I want to learn this. But then it was when I was 12 years old, my brother came in with some crazy inscriptions, right? Some papers, which were these, right? Same, it has the syllabary. And I was like, this is interesting. And I remember asking my brother, what does it mean? And he started explaining. He taught me how to write my name. And I was like, oh, this is cool. You know, and I started to do my own research. I started to read books. And then from there, I started to write names.
Zib is a native of one of the 3 Maya cultures still alive in Belize today. A fascination with the Yucatec language led Zib to take a course in 2020 that would teach him the inscription of his mother tongue. There, he would acquire a deeper understanding of the ancient Maya language through their systems and calendar.
For example, here, we cannot start with shok, right? Shok is the word for shark in Maya. So we cannot start with shok, so we say we have to start with u. And also, reading the other glyphs, we can know it is not shark, but u, right? For example, if we say shok tsibi nahal, right? It doesn't make any sense. So we have to go back to u and saying u tsibi nahal, right? The decoration of the surface.
Now, his recent endeavor involves what he considers the modernization of hieroglyphics.
All right, so what I do, so people would say, hey, I want this vase, and I want this phrase to be written in hieroglyphs. So what I do, I translate the phrase, the English or Spanish phrase, to the contemporary Maya that we speak now, right? Translate it to the contemporary Yucatec Maya, and then from there, transcribe it to hieroglyphs.
It shows that continuity. It shows that our youth are interested in revitalizing their heritage, but it also shows that the Maya culture is alive, it is vibrant, and it is in its own way engaging in an act of resistance.
Zib is surrounded by a household that embraces their culture. During our time with him, Zib's parents presented us with various Maya dishes. We also heard the household interact in their native tongue, which is often only spoken by the older Maya people.
I taught them is to speak Maya, but now Frank is doing something different and moreover about what we know.
Yeah.
So he's learning more, he's teaching more people, and I like that. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So I want to share this phrase, right? Again, so it says iut. Again, I use the ancient word, right, for, and then it happened, right? Iut, then we have the introductory glyph, right, for when we see this everywhere or anywhere, it's representing a date will come after that.
Wow.
Right? So iut, and then we have introductory glyph, right, which is tsika. It is narrated, the year glyph, right? It is narrated, then we have December 10, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
The Zib family came to live here.
One of the upsides to embracing culture is that visitors want to learn. The Zib family has even profited by welcoming tourists or persons interested in immersing themselves in the practices of an authentic Maya family. There, they engage in the preparing of their own meals or discover the uniqueness of the language. But for Frank Zib, the passionate scribe, his work is a step in the right direction of preserving his people's heritage.
My goal is, again, to bring it back to life within our Maya people, right? Because during the 16th century, that is when this writing completely died with our people, right? And we were forced to stop our writing system and use the Gregorian style, I would say, right? The European style. And that is why, like, within our people, I want to bring this back to life. I want to bring this writing back, so that it would be like a very common thing within our Maya people. Like, for example, if we say, write this phrase for me, or do this word for me in hieroglyphs, right? We can do it, right? And it's our heritage, Since our ancient people, it's our heritage. It's something that our culture developed, right? And again, it would be nice to bring it back.
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at greaterbelize.com, on our Facebook, and on YouTube. I'm Jamie Rock. Thanks for joining us. From all of us here at News 5, have a happy and safe weekend. Good night.